Good evening, everybody. What's going on? It's your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect. Tonight, I want to get on the subject about the desecration of the grave site. So, what is desecration? Desecration is when a sacred area has been destroyed or been tampered with, etc. So, reason why I'm doing this subject tonight because in Staten Island, New York, there is a parking lot in the plaza area, and beneath that parking lot is the grave site of former African descended slaves. It's the grave site of these former African descended slaves and also the free blacks in New York that's lie beneath the parking lot. All of that was a cemetery. But what did they do? They built something on top of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a video clip talking about or discussing about this historic cemetery that is underneath this parking lot. And then from there, I'm going to rant. So there's no doubt about that. I'm going to rant about it because I'm going to go in and give all my views and my thoughts pertain to this. So I'm going to go ahead and find this video. Okay, I'm so sleepy. Oh, boy. My bad, y'all. I'm kind of tired. I just woke up from a nap. All right. Let me go ahead and get started.
We are back with a parking lot on Staten Island that's gotten the attention of not only historians, but also local leaders and even a documentary filmmaker. Not for what it is, but for what's underneath it. News 4's Mark Santia brings us this Positively Black exclusive.
On the north shore of Staten Island, 4 miles from the ferry terminal, is a rundown, half-empty parking lot. And Heather Quinlan cannot stop talking about it.
This is known as the Forgotten Borough, and this is a forgotten corner of the Forgotten Borough.
The corner of Forest and Livermore is unremarkable until you learn what's there. Who is there?
Even though it's a parking lot, it's also a cemetery.
Beneath the surface, buried under decades of change and neglect, lies the African Methodist Episcopal Church Cemetery, also known as the Old Slaves Burying Ground.
This was specifically for African American people. Some were slaves, some were the descendants of the enslaved, some were family, some were African American residents who never knew slavery.
A final resting place for as many as 1,000 African Americans, many of whom helped build the very neighborhood that built this lot over them.
Are you serious? I didn't even hear that.
I had no idea. Wow. That's crazy.
I'm from Africa, so I'm marching on my forefathers. I don't understand.
There's no doubt about it. The black man has been lost in American history.
Edward Josie is president of the local NAACP. Robert Perkins is district leader on the North Shore. Both want to get the old slaves burying ground back on the map.
It's about knowledge that that place is there, knowledge that that place exists, and knowledge that those people that's there or have value.
Historians say it was the only burial ground on the North Shore for African Americans from the 1850s to the early 20th century. Hollowed ground, taken over by the city in the 1950s because of $11,000 owed in back taxes.
We see in 1953 that the city puts the property up for sale.
Soon, asphalt covered the cemetery, then a service station, then a shopping center, erasing all signs of the fathers, mothers, and children buried beneath.
There is no dignity in that, and it's really about dignity.
Benjamin Prine is known as the last man born into slavery on Staten Island. He was buried here.
I had no idea at all.
And you're related to him.
Exactly.
A mile and a half away from his great-great-great-grandchildren.
When you called, we were like blown away.
Heather Quinlan is a documentary filmmaker, president of Canvasback Kid Productions, and a historical detective.
So this is Benjamin.
Heather broke the news to siblings Ruth Ann Hills and David Thomas, descendants of Benjamin Prine.
It breaks my heart. It's personal to me. Yes, it is. And I think it should be recognized that there are people that are there.
People that they
My family members.
Then Heather revealed another twist.
He lived on this street most of his life on Van Pelt. He was owned by the Van Pelt family.
He was born here. He was owned on this street where we live. It was like, wow.
There are many, many names of people who are slave owners that are all over Staten Island. You can see them on the street names. You don't necessarily know it in a parking lot.
The truth of the matter is it needs to be spoken about and something needs to be done about it.
Robert Perkins and Edward Josie are pushing for a sign, a plaque, or a memorial to honor the people who were once the backbone of the borough. But for now, the cemetery is being kept alive by those who refuse to let it die.
We're walking around eyes wide shut, and it's right there. And it just makes me think, right? Even shudder to think, but also excited to wonder what else is buried out here.
In Staten Island, Mark Santia, News 4 New York.
All right. Where do I begin? One of the things Dr. Amos Wilson said something that was very important. When you know your history, you know yourself. When you know your history, then you begin to know yourself. And it's quite sad that he's one of the most underrated people in the Black community and in the Black psychology community and Black history community altogether. It's sad because he spoke about these things, and I don't think many of us had paid attention. Maybe we thought that his lecture was too boring. Maybe we thought that he was too overwhelming. Maybe we wasn't critical enough. But he spoke about this. He said, when you know your history, you know yourself. And as you can see, these people, the African Americans in that video, a lot of them didn't know about that history. They didn't know that. You seen the two people that was talking to the lady, the elderly woman and the man. They didn't know that their ancestor was owned by the person or the people which the street was named after. And their ancestor also lived on that street for a long time. And then on top of that, he's buried underneath the ground where they stayed. And they didn't know that. See, they was unaware of that. They was unaware of the history that has taken place. But this is a lot of things that has been kept from us, from our people. It's so much more than what we have been taught. And did you hear in the video that the slaves helped build that area over there in Staten Island? It was a Methodist church over there at one point in time, and that was the only cemetery they had over there. Those slaves put hard work and dedication into their community. And these white folks don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Because when they took over in 1950s, because of $11,000 debt, they just built stuff on top of it. They didn't give a fuck. And have that person have not done the research and did the historical look for historical information, nobody would be talking about it. No one would be talking about the slaves being underneath those parking lots. Because obviously the city or that borough, they don't give a fuck. And then you think that and we're supposed to forget about our history. We're supposed to just forget about our history. We're supposed to just let it go. And we're not supposed to be upset with these people. We're supposed to forgive these crackers for what they did to us here in this country. It's bad enough they don't give us our reparation. We're supposed to just forget about all the horrific things that happened to our people here in America. And the African brother, he said, I did not know this, and I come from Africa. And my ancestors, miles and miles away, they was buried underneath here. That touched me to hear that African brother say that. And this makes you question, are they really your friends? Yeah, these folks are your friends, your oppressor, they your friend until you start finding out the truth. I'm going to say it again. They your friends until you start finding out the truth. And once you find out the truth and learn the reality, then you're going to start questioning yourself, are these people really my friend? Are they really your friend? Were they your friend from the jump street? Or were they your friend to keep power and continue to stay privileged? Were they your friend from Jump Street, or were they your friend to continue to have privilege over you? We gotta quit thinking because we were born in America that this government gives a damn about us. No, they don't. They care about what you can do. They feed off your resources. They feed off your ideas. They profited off your ideas. But they don't give a damn. And all these black folks that went out there voted for Biden and Trump, you thought they both gave a damn? They don't give a damn. Dr. John Henry Clark says it's the best. You have no friends. You have no friend. They may look like they friendly. They may seem friendly, but in all actuality, you really have no friend. So as a black community, as black people, not only in America, but throughout the diaspora, you have no friends. In the continent, you have no friends. And the guy said the best. He pretty much was like, this it's very disgraceful. Somebody got to do something about it. Yeah. Well, you can't do a whole much about it now, but the only thing you can do is put a plaque or put a historic landmark right there to let it be known what's over there. That's all you can do, but other than that, you can't do nothing about it now. Because the city, you think the city going to shut down the parking lot and put the cemetery back over there? No, they're not going to do that. They weren't thinking about that. All they cared about was capitalism and capitalizing. That's all they cared about. When the white folks came in and started taking over that whole area, all they cared about was capitalizing. They weren't thinking about putting up no damn memorial for the former slaves in that area. They didn't give a damn. And it said that we have to continuously, as a people, well, those are our people, had to constantly put up a fight and constantly beg for respect, for recognition in this country. We have to constantly put up a fight for that shit. We gotta constantly beg them not to do anything to harm us or our history or destroy the evidence of our history. That's sad. And then you got some black folks that say, you know, fuck it. Shit, it don't matter now because it is what it is, whatever. And that's how it is. That's what this government wanted us to be. They wanted us to just totally forget about shit so they could continue to run the games they've been running, continue to have the power they've been having over us. They wanted you to forget about your history, throw that shit out the window, and just act like the shit don't exist, act like it's just a thing of a past. But guess what? You still carry on those pain and hurt from those ancestors. You may not know what it is, but it's there in your genetics. You still carry on the pain of your ancestor. You still carry on the hurt. You still carry on the anger. You still carry that with you. You carry those burdens, but you just cover up those burdens just by creating a facade. You cover up those burdens by living your best life. That's what you're doing. You're covering up those burdens by living your best life. We all doing that. We cover up our burdens just so nobody knows it's there. But it's still there. And then the bougie Negro can sit there and act like, oh, he ain't dealing with no hurt or pain. He telling a damn lie, or she telling a damn lie. They just not gonna say it. Or they want to believe that they're convinced to believe it. Black folks, I don't know what to tell you. You ain't got no goddamn friends. And if you think these crackers your friends, you better think twice. You ain't got no friends. And you're not going to get the respect that you think you're supposed to get in this country. I mean, yeah, you get a little bit of recognition here and there. Yeah, you get a little privilege. All it is just privilege. But other than that, get a totality of respect in this country is not going to happen. Getting a totality level is not going to happen. Yes, you got some of our black folks that became very successful, that became billionaires and whatnot, but they only make up the few. But that wouldn't even matter because at the end of the day, they still gonna catch hell. They still gotta deal with this racism. They still gotta play this game of this system. So it don't matter how wealthy they are, it don't matter how poor they are. They still gotta play the game of this system. They still got to live within this system and deal with it. Shout out to Young Dolph because Young Dolph says it the best. Rich slaves. That's all they are. Rich slaves. Young Dolph says it the best. If you guys don't know who Young Dolph is, you need to go and listen to his albums. Listen to his music. He says it the best. We are our people, when they become wealthy, when they become rich, they are rich slaves. That's all it is. It's like they slaves that happen to be wealthy, but they still have that mentality as slaves. What one thing the house Negro and the field Negro got in common? They are both are slaves. It's just the only difference is one happened to be the house Negro, the other one happened to be a field Negro, but both of them are slaves and both of them are being used by the very same people that oppress them. Let's see. So we now in the day and age where we have the responsibility as a people to reach out and study and learn more about the historic events that happen within our country, within this country, because it ain't my country, within this country, within the in the international world. We have that responsibility. We able to get on the computer and look up Wikipedia. We're able to get on other scholarly website. We can buy books now. So it's up to our people to do it now, because ain't no telling when they're going to take a lot of that stuff off, because they already done banned some books. I done read an article the other day that they banned books from Toni Morrison, the late Toni Morrison. They banned her books. So our people, y'all better get on it before they start banning books and shit, before they start saying these books can't go on the market. Because that's what they do. That's what the mainstream will do. But anyways, that's all I have to say for tonight. This is why when you embrace your culture, you fight against their oppressor. So embrace your culture. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of your people. Be proud of your ancestors. Yes, there was some bad. There was a lot of bad things that took place. There was a lot of ugly things that happened. But at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. There's no profession. All right. Once you really start to study history, you'll be able to look back and say, they put up a fight. They really put their life on the line. They sacrificed themselves. Because if it weren't for these people, we would still not be here today. We would not be alive if it wasn't for these people. So shout out to the brothers and sisters that are keeping our ancestors' memories alive. Shout out to the brothers and sisters that are teaching and educating the people. Shout out to those who are building events, venues, organizations that help to educate people and get people more involved in embracing culture and things like that. I would say this, I give a special shout out, even though there might be some things I disagree with certain group of people, but those individuals are taking the time out to keep our people culturally inclined with themselves, culturally in tune with themselves. So I want to give a shout out to those people who get on the YouTube channel and tell the story about the historical events, giving a historical accounts about our people here and in the West African and Central African region. Those who may not gain the recognition, those who may not be very popular. Shout out to those people, man, because they making it possible. They have made this thing possible for us. Because now, if it wasn't for them, we would just still be some plain old Negroes that don't know shit. Just be walking around here with our head loose. But shout out to the individuals that making it possible. And shout out to myself, because as much as I work hard on a consistent basis, but I at least take some time out of my busy schedule to make sure that I'm gathering up some sources, gathering up some books, etc., articles, whatever it is, and present it to the people. Because it's not fair for me to keep it to myself. You know what I'm saying? Especially if something regarding to my people, my culture, my community. I want to be able to share it to our people. I want to share it to everybody, but especially our people. I want to share it to them. I want people to be able to gravitate and be proud of their history and be able to learn and be more intuitive. But anyways, this your girl Tip, and I'm logging off, and I'm gonna say peace and power, elevation be to all you. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, share my channel, all that great stuff, and I will reconnect with you guys later. All right, so I keep you guys posted on whatever topic I'm coming up with. So until then, take it easy. Peace.